It's the weekend, and welcome back for another session of the Market Outlook series with me, Kavita Agrawal, the founder of EXP Invest. In today's session, the focus is simple to help you out in planning your trades for the coming week. Why? Because this entire week has absolutely been a roller coaster. So, what is going to be the approach to this entire session of around 45 minutes to 1 hour? We will start with the analysis of Nifty, move on to Bank Nifty, and then focus on the intersector analysis. In today's intersector analysis section, I have a special sector that I want to talk about in which I have witnessed or observed some very special developments. The analysis of Nifty and Bank Nifty will be done on a multi-time frame basis to get a holistic view of how the price action is unfolding and what that tells us. Now, once this presentation of mine is complete, I will move towards the queries asked by our attendees on Zoom. And then we will also answer the queries which all our other attendees on ET Market Live or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram are going to ask. So if you want your stock query to be answered, please fill up the form expinvest.in/stock request. I am sharing that link in the comments right now for you to access very easily. And you can also access the same, or you will be able to see this link on my screen when I share my screen. So let's get started with today's session. I'll just do a quick system check first. So anybody who wants to ask queries needs to fill this form, which is on the screen and in the comment section. Now, for the members who are joining me on Instagram, the link in the comment you might not be able to click. So you can simply go to the link in my bio and ask your stock queries from there. So let's get started with the 3-minute time frame of Nifty. I have honestly very rarely seen the Nifty chart showing all the key levels which are marked, because on 4th June, all the supports that were marked on my chart, each and every support got triggered. So I actually had to remove the drawings and refresh everything. But look at this. Since 4th of June's closing, 5th of June onwards, all of the support turned resistances have also been braved. And here we are today. What concerns me is that the volume has not really returned in the market. I believe the FPI, the FIIs and the other big players, those who have indulged in heavy selling, crashing the market, have not really made up their mind to come back just yet. But anyways, we'll continue with our work. Now, this 3-minute time frame of Nifty. So what you're seeing first here, this is the volume indicator, basically represented with a histogram comparing the 20-day average of volume and 100-day average of volume on a daily time frame, not 3-minute, daily time frame. And this is the RSI period. The RSI on all the different time frames is set at 25 for me. I like to reduce as much noise as possible, and 25 gives me a pretty good outcome. Now, what we are witnessing here is that 21,200 acted as support. Right now, this 21,200, as I mentioned on my Telegram post in the market comment that I share every day, this is approximately 50% correction of the entire rally that we've seen since 26th October 23, which is incredible. I mean, it took the market nearly 9 months to register that rally, and it took it just one day to correct all of that. Now, the reason why I believe that this low might get tested again is because if you see this entire rally, the volume is very minimal here. Right, that's what the 3-minute time frame is showing. Now, on this 3-minute time frame charts, RSI, if you see here very close, there is already a negative divergence forming, which makes sense that Nifty has rallied quite a bit and it has started to lose momentum in the last part of the rally. Moving now to the 15-minute time frame, zooming in on this chart. On this chart, what I am seeing is that the 15-minute time frame with this volatility we've experienced since 29th May has moved into what I like to call the negative range. The level of 30 has been breached twice. If it had only been breached on the 4th of June, I wouldn't have worried so much, but it had already been breached on the 30th of May. Right, this entire high that we forged was actually extremely misleading for the entire market. Unfortunate that we saw this high, but it was the exit polls and sentimentality took over. Objectivity went out of the window. This decline happened. Again, you can observe very high volumes. The recovery was to some extent on high volume for a very short period of time. But then again, the main part of the rally, again on 15-minute time frame also, you can see, was accompanied by pretty weak volumes. Moving forward to the 75-minute time frame. On the 75-minute time frame, I'm seeing that here there was a negative divergence already forged on the 4th of June itself, by the time this high was forged after the announcement of the exit polls. However, this negative divergence has only deepened now, even though the Nifty has reclaimed the level of 23,100. So this is again indicating to us that, hey, the momentum is not as strong as we would like to think just yet, which is quite surprising because the speed of this rally is quite strong. But again, the speed of this decline is also impacting this entire move, because remember, 25 period RSI reduces the noise quite a bit. So the volume and the momentum are both not looking so strong. Here I can see the level of 40 on the 75-minute time frame was also breached, which usually is a signal that more weakness can be expected. And this phenomena of level of 40 continuously getting breached has been common since the market went into this consolidation phase. When the market was very bullish, you'd see a very strong rally was ensuing. Even when the market took a little bit of correction, the level of 40 was respected that point of time. So because of this extreme movement very recently, I think the quality of data has been compromised to some extent. So right now, what we are seeing, we are taking on face value, but again, we have to wait for the charts to normalize to some extent. Now, coming back to the daily chart has been showing this negative divergence since a very long time. And now, even though we've created a new high, the daily RSI is nowhere close to its own high. So that is a little bit concerning for me. And that kind of tells me that maybe we are down for another leg of correction. And again, from this low of October 26, if I showed you the move that has unfolded in the market, right? So since this, this is 2020 and 20. So since October 26th October 23, so this entire rally already marked with Fibonacci here. So this is the 50% retracement mark, and this is actually where my support for Nifty lies. I think something else is brewing. There is more bad news to come in the market, even though the NDA is forming the government now with a bit of a lesser majority, but the loss of confidence over here, I think it has shaken the market to some extent. And let's also see one more thing that I want to see is this Fibonacci projection. So this suggests that the 0.%, so this entire rally's 61.8% rally would be somewhere around 23,783. So that actually also becomes a very important resistance for the market. So all in all, in simpler language, or in with a little bit more clarity, if I have to tell you, let's set this resistance here. What should your trading strategy be given the charts here? It is very natural to expect that majority people would have missed this rally of 1400 points that has unfolded in a matter of 2 to 3 days, and many people would have also gotten severely burned in this mighty crash, especially if you use stop loss. And again, especially for people who are new to the market, this kind of a decline and subsequent recovery also puts people off from using risk management strategies or stop losses in the market, because the courage to re-enter positions usually does not come very easily when you've seen such a massive crash. In fact, I have been contacted by few people, and they've pretty much sworn off of the stock market because this decline has completely boggled them. So if you are one of such people, remember, such curveballs keep coming in the market. This is what market risk. There are going to be events, there are going to be things in the market which we cannot plan for, no matter how hard we try. And this subsequent kind of recovery is again the kind of move that we cannot possibly predict in the market. But these things happen. So for the purpose of my own analysis, I am not taking into consideration this extreme move. So for my analysis, what I prefer to focus is on this kind of a move here. As if the market just consolidated around 22,500 and continued from there. So if I observe this rally from 22,500 onwards, what I am witnessing is that the rally occurred, but the volume was not present. And that is an objective analysis for me. So what would I do? Do I have active positions? Yes. Did my positions get stopped out? Yes. So almost all of my positions in the short-term portfolio got stopped out. None of my positions in the long-term portfolio got stopped out. Instead, the ready GTT orders that I keep near support levels on my long-term positions, a lot of them got triggered. So my long-term positions actually got accumulated in this market crash. Short-term positions all got exited. Now around 30 to 50% of my short-term portfolio has been reinvested in the market. And that has already moved very strongly given this sharp recovery. Stocks have moved quite a bit. My strategy is simple. I am trailing the stop loss on my active positions very closely. Even in my swing trade recommendation service, the recommendations that I'm giving to my members, there also I am firstly recommending members to accumulate using GTT orders. Secondly, when you have active positions, I am helping my members trail stop losses on active positions regularly, so that when and if the correction comes, realized profit is not lost to the market. And the same stop loss strategy also helped me and my members protect our capital in stocks like NBCC, which were in the lower circuits 2 days in a row. Now moving on to Bank Nifty. So now this is again the 3-minute time frame of Bank Nifty. 3-minute time frame, what is it saying? Same story, rally, sure, but volume absent. And even the rally on Bank Nifty has not been as strong as that on Nifty. In fact, the Bank Nifty has barely been able to reclaim its previous high of around 49,770. The exit poll day or 3rd of June peak of 51,000 has not yet been claimed, which means there is already a negative divergence between Nifty and Bank Nifty. Now, if you're aware of Dow theory also, in Dow theory also it is mentioned that if two leading indices create a divergence in the sense that one leading index has reached a lifetime high but the other has not, this creates a scene where market can go into further correction. Right now, you have to remember that the market confidence has already been damaged in a major way because of the whole election fiasco. Another significant observation on the Bank Nifty 15-minute time frame is the occurrence of this huge RSI negative divergence, which is again indicating that the momentum with which the price was moving up to 27th of May, even though the price is above 27th of May's high, that momentum is lacking. And we are seeing more and more of a negative shift or a negative range shift in the 15-minute time frame of Bank Nifty. What is the 75-minute time frame saying? Well, here we don't have a negative divergence like we did on the Nifty chart, which is good, but the lack of volume on the upside and the huge volume pickup on the downside is very evident. So banks, to be honest, is one sector that I am trying to steer clear of for the foreseeable future because something is a little fishy on banks specifically. Now, moving on to our intersector chart analysis section, let's take a look at which sector has recovered how since 5th of June. So since 5th of June, if you see, the PSE sector seems to be coming out at the top. But mind you need to be very careful of investing in the PSE sector. Main reason for that is that a negative divergence seems to be forming on the PSE sector. Let's take a quick look. CNX PSE, and we have here the weekly time frame. On this weekly time frame, this negative divergence is very evident. On the daily time frame, also this negative divergence is very evident. Typically, if you look at the whole Elliott wave theory, now I'm not going to do the Elliott wave count on PSE here, but what the Elliott wave theory has, or what I have observed in my practice since a very long time, is that usually the fifth wave occurs on poor momentum. This is the profit booking phase of the market, or this is also the phase where euphoria comes in. So profit booking for the big sharks, for the people in the know, and euphoria stage for the people who are latecomers, for the retail traders, for the crowd, for the majority, for the 95% people. And in this crash also, you'll see retail traders being very interested in buying PSE stocks. That, my friends, is a bad strategy. Undoubtedly, there are a lot of very attractive sectors in the market right now, and I'm going to talk about one such sectors right now, but you definitely want to stay away from the winners of yesterday. Now, talking about the winners of today or tomorrow, CNX Media. Now, I know there is a lot of controversy in the media sector, mergers failing, so on and so forth. But remember that media sector is actually one of those sectors that are cyclical. If you are a swing trader like me, opportunity is blooming here, not for long-term investment, but for swing trade. The reason why I say that is every time the media sector comes into a base formation and creates a positive divergence. Last time we had witnessed this around 22nd of May 2023, almost a year back. And then we experienced a massive rally of around 50% in just 3 months in the media sector. And this is the sector index chart. So individual stocks actually moved a lot more. And the same phenomena is again started to unfold on the time frame of CNX Media right now. So you will see that this entire 4th of June decline that we saw, it only retested the previous low and maybe breached it a little bit, but that's fine. Now it has already started to rally higher and given a massive breakout. Now, because the CNX media sector has already given this breakout, I think it is a great time to start looking at media stocks or the stocks that actually form constituents of this sector and look for opportunities. So to my members in the Trade Together program, I will be giving recommendations in the media sector very soon. Now, coming back to the chart and looking at movement since 5th of June's low, sector seems to be at the top, but I think the time to make fresh entries in the PSE, in the reality, in the infra sector is a little behind us. You want to be very careful because if you get stuck in an exhaustion rally, you are going to have to sit through the entire correction unless you're ready to take a loss in the market. Now, energy sector, mixed bag, energy and metal, both of them are a bit of a mixed bag. Some stocks are showing negative divergence. Very few stocks are showing a continuation of rally there. But again, I am not very sure of crude oil prices. So let's take a quick look at crude oil once more. Yes, so crude oil, I have been feeling like crude oil can go in for a rally, bit of a rally. And if crude oil goes into rally, then both metal and energy sector is going to suffer. So you want to be cautious there. Auto sector, I'm not bullish on. I am seeing massive negative divergences there. IT sector, I think, is really coming out of the shadows. It's been a few months, almost a year, since IT has given any significant rally. Wipro, Infosys have given massive moves today, and this move is expected to trickle down to the smaller players as well. So my long-term investments actually right now comprise of lots of IT stocks, not just the constituents of the index CNX IT, but lots of IT stocks and lots of chemical stocks, because specialty chemical, I think, for the next 2-3 years is looking extremely attractive. FMCG stocks have also created a bottom and have started to rally. Unfortunately, FMCG has come out of the bottom very strongly and has started to rally with a little bit too much force. But if the overall market is not going to be performing so well, if the financial services sectors are going to be underperforming the market, then I expect the FMCG and consumer durables those underdogs can actually outperform in the market in the coming time. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation. Now I'm going to start with the queries that the members have for us. So let's get moving to first our chat. So here I can see on Zoom, we don't have any queries from the attending members yet. So I can see we have Manish, we have Chandan, we have Devesh with us. So guys, if you have any queries, feel free to raise your hand, ask your query. Your queries will be prioritized. And in the meantime, let's move forward to the stock request sheet and see if there are any stock queries that we can answer for our members. So we have Sahil Mahajan with us. Welcome, Sahil. And he's asking for the analysis of Axis Bank. So 1060 is the price that you've bought it at, and you are holding it with some profits, but you want to know the stop loss and the target. Fine. Let's continue with the analysis of Axis Bank. Like I said, the banking sector is not my favorite right now, to be honest, but Axis Bank has shown quite a bit of resilience in the market volatility. Volume is yet to pick up. Now, unfortunately, I know this is going to be a pretty big stop loss, but it's very impressive that this support level has not been breached. The 100 EMA hasn't been breached. So you can move your stop loss maybe up to 1098, and you can maintain 1098 as your stop loss. Now, considering the underlying move here, let's see. So this bit of rally that we saw, there was some volume pickup there. This rally definitely had volume pickup. This high was also associated or accompanied by high volume increase. And there is this trend line resistance, which clearly has been overcome by the stock, and we can expect the rally to continue slightly longer. Axis Bank being one of those exceptional stocks, I wouldn't recommend anyone to make a fresh entry. But for Axis Bank, I would just here, if I see, yeah, it did try to break out above this resistance zone, but it again came back to retest this support zone. So now, if again this resistance of around 1220 can be breached, then we are looking at a target of around 1300. So that was all Sahil Mahajan. Now we will move on to the next question on the stock query form. Now, if you also have questions, feel free to just hop over to this expinvest.in/stock request. The link is already pasted in the comments. Click there and open the form, fill it up so I can answer your queries. Before I move on to the next query, I want to talk to you about joining my Telegram channel. So this is my Telegram channel. The link is Trade with Kavita. All you have to do is hop over to Telegram, open your account and search Trade with Kavita. Now, be sure that you're writing the exact same spelling, because as you can see on my screen, there are lots of fake channels running with my name. You don't want to get stuck with those. So join the channel which says exactly Trade with Kavita. Around 6,500 or 50 members are there, and you will see these stock templates and notifications about my webinars. So make sure that you join my Telegram channel, because every day after market, I also share a relevant chart and my market outlook, which is much loved by our members. So we have Chandan Nayak, and he's asking for the analysis of PVR Inox, and he's part of our Zoom meeting. So again, if you want to join me on Zoom and ask questions, I request you to join my Telegram channel, because only my Telegram channel members are invited for the Zoom event. Chandan, so thank you so much for asking this query, and let's take a look at PVRI. It's very smart that you asked for PVR Inox, Chandan. There is, like I said, CNX Media is showing signs of turnaround, and PVR Inox is not to be left behind. I can see a massive positive divergence on the daily time frame unfolding already. And if you look at the 75-minute time frame, I want to see some more confirmations come up on the 75-minute time frame. So what your strategy should be right now is don't buy all at once, but use these GTT orders. Hold on, let me fix this style. Set buy orders at for instance, at 1270 rupees. And so here you can buy about, so at the current market price, you can buy about 25% of your total allocation. Lower at around 1270, set a GTT order for another 25% of your total allocation. And I feel like 1220 would not get tested. On the 75-minute time frame, also a positive divergence has definitely occurred here. 15-minute also showed a positive divergence and moved into the bull range. I will disregard this little breach because of extraordinary volatility. But this positive range shift is yet to start showing us levels above 70, 75, right? Which would be the true test. So I think this entire range of around 5% can be used as the potential accumulation zone for you. A very good confirmation of this bull run would come actually above this resistance. So above 1450 is what I would wait for PVR Inox to go to really allocate a significant chunk. Before this breakout happens, I would be wary of allocating more than 3% of my total portfolio to PVR Inox with stop loss. So once this major breakout happens above 1450, I would allocate another 3, maybe 5% more of my total portfolio to PVR Inox to play the momentum in this stock. Great question, Chandan. We have another question from Vishal. So Vishal had a question for Inox Wind. So Vishal, one person, one question, please. Inox Wind. So let's take a look at Inox Wind for Mr. Vishal. Vishal has not mentioned the average cost price at which he holds this. So we will carry forward and let's see. Let's move to a bigger time frame, and here I can see this is a good support and resistance. I hope you can see the trend line, everybody, and this is the resistance. Now see, Inox Wind here appears to have already given a pretty big rally and is already taking strong resistance. The weekly time frame RSI is showing negative divergence, which is not so great, and I wouldn't be very excited about creating a new position. Also, the selling which is now happening, at least the volatility that we saw. So this was 28th May, right? This is not even the election day volatility. The high volume selling has already started. So for me, Inox Wind has created a very strong resistance around the level of 167. So unless it breaks above that resistance with strong volumes, I wouldn't be allocating any capital. In fact, my focus here would be to use strong stop loss. And my stop loss now, Inox Wind is not a short-term stock because slightly illiquid and it's only suitable for long-term investing. So from a long-term perspective, since this was the most recent high that was forged, this would become a legitimate stop loss for Inox Wind. So the level of 102 is where I would keep my stop loss. And on the daily time frame also, big negative divergence. So absolutely a no-go. Now for OHM, let's look at PNB. Now just a reminder before I analyze PNB that if you are watching this episode and if you are liking the knowledge which is being shared, please don't forget to give a thumbs up to this video and also follow me on my YouTube channel. I'm sharing the link of my YouTube channel in the comments right now. So we have the question on PNB from his cost price is 57. Now, as we clean up the charts, one thing that becomes very evident is a big negative divergence on the daily time frame. Not very good. And here again, high volume selling, not just on the election day, but since 30th October, 30th April has already begun. Warning sign. Negative divergence, very evident on weekly as well. And on 75-minute time frame, also there is negative divergence. And there is breach of the positive range that the stock had been respecting. So I believe the stock is very ready to go into correction. If you are holding it, I would strongly suggest you book your profits and you get out of the stock immediately. On Zoom, our Zoom guest Manish is asking for the analysis of Bharat Dynamics. So let's take a look at so your average price is T. Now for the Zoom members, if you wish to come off mute and ask me any question which is not a stock query but related to maybe your own journey in the stock market or swing trading in general, feel free to raise your hand and we'll do that. Now, if you don't know how to raise your hand, all you have to do is on the Zoom window, click on that react button that you're seeing, and over there you'll see the option to raise your hand. So let's clean up this chart, and we can see the stock has recently gone through a split of 2/1. That's why all the chart drawings were anyways disturbed. So we'll redraw our trend lines. So these two seem like pretty strong and well-established support zones, and here we can see the stock breaking above or trying to at least break above previous resistances, right? And this is where the lifetime high for the stock lies. Now, what am I seeing? I'm seeing that the stock has given a very strong breakout from this zone. I would also draw another trend line here. And this breakout has been associated with very strong volumes. Right now, the stock is taking a bit of a dip, come back to retest this blue line, which is nothing but the 20 EMA of the daily time frame. And this looks very attractive for fresh entry. Why? Because volume has also dipped when the price corrected. So price increasing against strong prices, volume increasing against increase in price supports uptrend. Volume decreasing subsequently on price correction also supports uptrend. So everything about this chart is looking very bullish. The daily time frame RSI is respecting the bull range like religion. So I think it's very good time to start buying even fresh positions in BDL. This dip is actually a very good accumulation opportunity. Now, mind you, BDL is not a short-term stock. It is illiquid. It has circuits. So you need to make up your mind that you're going to invest in BDL only for the long term. So only buy it in your long-term portfolio. The reason why I'm telling you this is the short-term portfolio, you have to be very careful about each point that you make or miss. In the long-term portfolio, sometimes if you're holding a stock for many years, you can definitely hold the stock even if it is locked in lower circuits without losing sleep over it. So strong accumulation. Let's see, look at the Fibonacci retracement here. So this is where the new rally began, and the stock has completed almost 38% rally. There is a strong support on the stock at this 50% decline. Doesn't look like the stock is going to come all the way there because this positive range shift has already taken place on 75-minute time frame, and it looks pretty set to continue. However, I would still suggest you to have a pretty big stop loss on this 1032. And as for your target, I definitely feel, now there's obviously never any guarantee with the markets, but if this trend line, if 1700 is breached successfully, then this trend line becomes the very next target, which is around the level of 3000 rupees. So that's a multi-bagger target here. But again, exercise caution. Make sure you use your stop losses, and your total allocation in BDL should not be more than 5% of your total portfolio. So Manish, thank you so much for asking that question. Very good stock you've picked up for query. Now let's move back. We have Mr. Naman Multani asking for Titan Biotech. Let's see, Titan Bio. Better part of the rally is already kind of behind on the stock, and also the last leg of the rally has not witnessed a lot of volume. Also, the stock is not that liquid, which makes me uncomfortable. Daily time frame is showing RSI negative range shift, even though the price is very close to lifetime highs. That rings a warning bell for me. Like I said, the stock is quite illiquid. Let's take a quick look at the market cap of the stock. Oh, this is like a micro cap stock. I would not recommend you to go in with active trading in the stock. And I am not able to comment on the stock's long-term prospects because I've not looked at the fundamentals purely on the basis of technicals, because we do have quite a bit of price data available over here. It does look like the stock is trying to give a breakout from its resistance trend line, but it has failed the last time when the volume and the momentum both were stronger. And this time we can see the momentum also failing and the volume has also already started to fail. So I'm going to move this trend line up. And for long-term investment, I would wait to see if the stock actually broke out above 660. Personally, I am not a big fan of breakout trading because it leads us to massive bull traps and stop losses have to be big. I prefer turnaround investments or value investment more when it comes to term investments. So if you are interested in such value stocks which are expected to give massive cyclical rallies, then do check out my Telegram channel and look for the long-term plan information. ABS Marine. We have Vishal asking for ABS Marine. Let's look at it. Again, ABS Marine is impossible to study technically because it seems to have IPO'd very recently. So we will look to Yes Bank for Puranjan. So Puranjan here is joined us from ET Markets. So welcome Puranjan, and let's clean up the charts a little bit and let's get started with the analysis. Now your outlook is 2 years. So I keep telling everybody that ICICI does look very attractive from a long-term perspective. Short-term trading, sure, it has opportunities, but it is extremely risky. So it's right now it is moving up in this upward trending channel, but I expect strong momentum to come into the stock anytime soon. In my opinion, a resistance has been formed here at 33, and once the stock moves beyond this, we'll be able to witness very strong volumes, and I am fairly confident that is going to happen based on the momentum and the volume analysis. So if you notice, the volume has been picking up every time the stock rallies even a little bit, and the volume has been quite low every time the stock declines. Now, right now, I know the stock is in correction, but the stock has completed exactly 61.8% correction of the most recent rally. It has tested and respected the 250 EMA on the daily time frame 2 times. And this tells us that the stock has very strong underlying momentum, strong participation, and for 2 years outlook, it is definitely very attractive. My stop loss for you on your long-term position would be around the level of 18 rupees 50 paisa, and 2 year target from a conservative point would be 80 rupees for me. We have Vishal again with us asking for Gallon. So we have around 2-3 minutes left for this session. So we'll take this question and another question from Mehul, and we'll call it a wrap on this session. So here I can see Gallant. Let's take a look at the market cap. So it's a metal stock. The earnings growth quarterly has been quite good. The market cap is only 65 billion rupees, which means it's a mid cap stock. So if I draw the trend lines, it has definitely given a breakout here, and the volume on the breakout was pretty strong, and the volume does seem to keep increasing. Volume does seem to keep picking up further. So the weekly time frame is saying very strong. The daily time frame is also saying strong, but is it saying very strong? Let's see. Here the volume did pick up, and now stock is again taking correction. So yes, it looks strong, but again, Gallant is something that I wouldn't recommend investing in for the short term. This looks like a stock that would be more a better fit for long-term investment. 170 is where you should look to maintain your stop loss. Actually, maybe a little bit lower there, 165, 164. And well, for the long term, it's becoming a little hard for me to give you a target. But wait, what if, considering the new underlying rally, what if I extend this? No, this doesn't help either. So technicals are falling a little short here, giving us a target for this stock. So personally, I wouldn't invest in this stock right now because I'm not very well aware of its fundamentals. So very hard for me to draw the targets. But yes, from a long-term perspective, the minimum stop loss that I would recommend here would be around the level of 165 for you. So let's take the last stock of the day, Coforge. Very strong rally unfolding, and we can see some recovery already happening. Now, here, 6th of May, we saw a massive gap down, but entirely covered. What worries me is the lack of volume participation on this uptrend, which tells me that this may not yet be the recovery that we are hoping for. I personally believe that 5-wave has already been completed on Coforge, and right now it is undergoing what we call in Elliott wave theory the ABC correction. So only wave A has been done. Wave B and C are yet to do. So for wave B, I believe the stock can scale around 5,800, and this view is also backed by the poor momentum and the absolute absence of volume here. And I would personally avoid the stock. I would wait for retest of around 4,300 at least, which is also the 61.8% retracement of the previous rally. That is where I would consider making fresh position. But Mehul, if you're holding Coforge position actively right now, what you can do is you can maintain a target at 5,800. So why 5,800? Let's see if we drew a Fibonacci on this. This 5,800 coincides very closely with the 61.8% retracement of the A wave that has already unfolded. So 5,800 would be a target. And for your stop loss, I would suggest you maintain this previous peak or the 250 EMA of the daily time frame, which the stock has just broken above. Right? This would become your stop loss. If the stock turns down and comes back below this, you should immediately exit your position. I'm assuming that you are holding a short-term position on this. So with that, we come to the end of today's Market Outlook series. I hope I was able to add some value to your trading journey with my analysis of Nifty, Bank Nifty, and helping out with your stock queries. Thank you so much for joining me today for the session, and thank you so much to our attendees on YouTube. Now, Chandan is asking, where can we find the previous seminars? Chandan, just go on YouTube. You will see all my previous webinars under Let's Get Technical or Retail Trader Special or Market Outlook series available there in playlist. All the live sessions are also edited by my great team and put up on YouTube so that you don't have to waste, and you can get a very meaty, faster content that will help you learn technical analysis and market analysis. So with that, I take your leave. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you again on Wednesday in the Let's Get Technical series. Until then,